Hi, I'm Frank Morano. I'm sure by now you have heard about or seen the story regarding Richard Williams, 83-year-old veteran, randomly shoved onto the subway tracks and who unfortunately died. This is just horrendous. It's not just tragic, it's totally outrageous. You have an 83-year-old Air Force veteran, a man who served this country honorably, a guy that beat cancer, a man who loved this city, pushed onto the subway tracks in a random act of violence. And now he's gone. As chair of the New York City Council Veterans Committee, I feel a deep responsibility to speak for veterans always, but especially in moments like this, because when something like this happens, it's not just another crime statistic, it's a failure to protect someone who has already given so much to all of us. Richard Williams wore the uniform of the United States Air Force, just like my Uncle Caesar. He did his duty, he lived his life with dignity, and he should have been able to ride the subway in the city he loved without fear of being murdered. But instead, here we are. And we have to ask ourselves some very difficult questions. First, how did this happen? We're told the individual who did this, he's entitled to the presumption of innocence, but there doesn't seem to be much doubt about the outcome. But the individual that's charged in this case was in the country illegally and had been deported not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times. Deported multiple times and was able to keep coming back. That's a failure at the federal level. When someone is deported again and again and continues to re-enter the country, something is clearly broken. Second, how was this individual on the street? We're dealing with someone, the killer here, we're dealing with someone who, according to reports, had a lengthy criminal history. That raises serious questions about our bail laws and our broader criminal justice system. What's going on here? If someone poses a danger to the public, the system has an obligation to recognize that and act accordingly. And third, what are we doing here in New York? We have policies in place that limit cooperation with federal authorities. We call ourselves a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state. But at some point, we have to ask, who are we protecting? And at what cost? Are we protecting the 83-year-old veteran? Or are we protecting the illegal immigrant who shouldn't even be in the country? Because the cost in this case was the life of an 83-year-old veteran. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This has nothing to do with politics, nothing at all. This is strictly about public safety. It's about accountability, and it's about making sure that what happened to Richard Williams doesn't happen again to anyone else. And as chair of the Veterans Committee, I am especially concerned about whether veterans, men and women who have served this country, are being left vulnerable. We're going to take a serious look at that. We are going to be exploring whether veterans are being disproportionately targeted or whether it just worked out that way in this particular case, whether they're at greater risk somehow in public spaces, and what steps the city can take to better protect them. Because if you serve this country, if you put on that uniform, if you raise your right hand and swore to defend this nation, the least we can do is make sure you're safe in your own city. And I don't think that's a partisan statement at all. I think that's a basic obligation. We also need to support our law enforcement officers. They're on the front lines dealing with the consequences of policies that too often tie their hands. They deserve the tools and the backing to keep our streets and our transit system safe. And we need to be honest about what's working and what isn't, because ignoring these issues doesn't make them go away. It just guarantees that more families will have to go through what the Williams family is going through right now. A family that lost a father, a grandfather, a veteran. Richard Williams deserved better, and the people of the city deserve better. We owe it to him and to every veteran to take this seriously, to ask tough questions, and to act. Because honoring our veterans isn't just something we do on holidays. It's something we show through the way we protect them every single day. At least it's supposed to be. Thanks.